Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about a release from Tamiya. It's a Lockheed P-38J Lightning in 1/48 scale, and this aircraft kit might be interesting for all modders who would like to replicate this twin engine unusual type of US aircraft. And we have here actually the new tool to release, so it will be interesting to see what is actually supplied inside and why this might be a perfect option for your next build. So first of all, I have to say thank you all for supporting us with the donations, which made this review possible, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get this kit. And as you can see, we have here, let's say, kit straight out of the shop, so that's why you will get everything what you will see in this video review. We have nice box art here, and box size is typical for 1/48 scale releases from Tamiya. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Next, if I flip it over, here on the side you can see two marking options, and this is not a huge choice in my opinion, especially in 1/48 scale. So Edward already proposed some aftermarket decal sets, and I would recommend to check them because it will be a way better upgrade than what we get here in the box. And on the opposite side you can see also a list of the features, which is written in Japanese. I guess it's a history note. We have also here a note that it's certified by Lockheed Martin. And it's a top opening box. Here is what we have inside. As you can see, we have here the old tradition of Tamiya kits preserved, so each sprue is packed into a separate plastic bag. That's why we will be opening it one by one. And of course it's closed with the staples, so it's better to use debonder in order to properly open it without damaging anything, including my own fingers. So, as you saw on the top we had a wing part. So now I'm going to open it, just give me a second. And we will take a closer look. So, I think you also remember that we reviewed the previous version of the P-38. If you didn't see this video, I recommend checking it because it was also a decent release, but there were some fixes as far as I remember, and that's why this release is called as a new tool. And now I will show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here is the wing part. And we have quite unusual parts division because, as you can see, it is molded together with engine gondola sections, and I really hope that it actually replicates the panel lines, because otherwise it will be quite a problematic thing to work with. Note that here we also have separate wing sections. This leading edge is actually molded separately. I guess it was done in order to get the one piece finish, but we will see. And the external features also look fine, so if I zoom in you can see that everything looks great. And let's flip it over. Here inside we have surprisingly developed internal structure, so a lot of strengthening ribs and other stuff. Of course we have guiding elements, and this is this, let's say, set of features looks really good in 1/48 scale, because it will ensure that parts are quite rigid, and even this half on its own, it's not that flexible. We have also thin attachment points here, so that's why it will be easy to work with it. Maybe I'll leave it here as it is while I'm opening the next plastic bag. This way it will be a bit more efficient, so that you can see what is actually included here. And I know that Edward will also include or release the resin set for the cockpit, but of course it will be up to you if you are ready to invest into such thing, because believe me, it will not be cheap. But from the other side, it will also bring you a lot of features which are not copied in the original Tamiya release. So here we continue with the second gray plastic sprue, and here, as you can see, we have this famous tail sections, which will be actually unified together with engine gondolas, and we have them pre-molded together with tail fins, so they should be glued each one out of two hulls. We have the separate ailerons here, and external features are pretty much the same as what we saw on the previous parts. We have large guiding elements here, which is quite interesting, I would say, but usually Tamiya guiding elements work nicely, so there are no additional issues as far as I remember, and I hope that this kit will be actually the same case and you won't have any problems whatsoever. Okay, I am opening the next plastic bag. And here, as far as you can see, we have the pair of wing panels, and we also have the tail wing, which is quite large here, but still it is supplied as a single piece part. So let's remove this sprue and let's place the next one. Just give me a sec. Okay. So as I said, here we have the wing panels, these two. We also have the tail wing. We have two propellers here, pilot seat. We also have the gun barrels and also some parts for internal features. Gun barrels look okay, but as far as I remember, Edward will release the 3D printed upgrade set. So I would rather recommend getting it because it will bring more features, and because these guns are actually placed in the nose section of the aircraft, it's quite a noticeable upgrade, and I think it should be worth it to actually upgrade it with your hands, and the installation should not be difficult, so that's why I would recommend to check it. I will include the video review in the article on our website, so in case you missed the video review of the gun barrels, you can check it on our website. Next set of sprues, as far as you can see, it is supplied in a pair, so we have here identical parts. That's why I'll show you only one. But here, as you can guess, we get the, again, pair parts, obviously. So we have the landing gear wheels, we have also fuel tanks, we have some external fuselage panels as well as the engine gondolas panels. We have also the turbochargers here, which can be also upgraded with the resin parts from Edward. And for the turbochargers, I would rather do so because, as you can see, they're not as thin as they could be. The same can be said about the landing gear wheels, but I know that some modders are quite fine with the standard choice which they receive in Tamiya kits, in terms of landing gear wheels, of course, so that's why they just leave them, apply some weathering, and it's good to go. And now I'm opening next plastic bag with a clear sprue, and in the meantime I can also say that this P-38 should not be a small build, so be ready to get some space for the whole model. It will definitely require let's say secured space on your shelf, because otherwise you won't be able to place it anywhere. And of course, to transport it, if you're, let's say, fan of the model exhibitions and you would like to show it to other guys, then definitely you have to assemble some rig in order to carefully bring it to some exhibition. Here we continue with the clear sprue. So this one is molded in a traditional, I would say, Tamiya fashion. It means that here for the central section we have the protection X-shaped, as you can see, and that's really clever solution because it will preserve the part in its let's say better form, and all the parts actually look nice. I wonder if we have the masks included here or we will have to get them as an aftermarket, because Edward also released their set of masks, and if you do not want to use the standard ones or you need masks in order to paint the interior, then definitely go for it, because the price of the set is not that huge, but then you get a really useful tool in order to speed up the overall process of painting and assembling the model. Or maybe you will be able just to focus on the different things. So here we continue with another sprue. Here we have the instrument panel, also the landing gear struts. As far as you can see, we have some air intake halves, so each air intake should be assembled out of two halves. This is not something what is, let's say, great to see, because such parts are really tricky to get a smooth connection in between, and of course it adds some extra work, but I guess Tamiya decided that it's worth going this way. And of course for the instrument panel, again, we have the choice of the PE and also decals and also resin dashboards from Edward, so if you do not like what you get here, then you can go with the aftermarket upgrade. Next we have few interesting things here. Maybe I'll zoom out a bit so that you can see what I'm talking about. First of all, we have a one-piece nose section, and this is really cool because it means that you won't have any seams in the middle. This is even more crucial for the P-38 because we have one of the cannons right in the middle area, so I guess that's what actually made Tamiya to go this way. Also, here we have some cockpit walls. We have pilot figure, which is a quite nice bonus, and still it's not that often met in some plastic kits, so I always welcome such addition. And also we have this separate section of the wings, and frankly speaking, I'm not sure if the P-38 had this wing mechanization in the front, so if you know, feel free to write in the comment section. I will have to check the reference material, but if yes, then it should repeat the actual subject on the wings. And here, by the way, you can see the middle section of the fuselage, so I guess this is the lower part. And if we flip it over, here you can see from the opposite side we have a lot of really huge guiding elements, so it will be really difficult to make something wrong, to connect it in a wrong position, and that's a useful thing because it will provide you with a let's say surefire approach to the model. Next we continue with the last gray plastic sprue, and here we have also plenty of interesting stuff. I guess here we start to see some of Tamiya engineering because they love to bring some unusual solutions which actually simplify the assembly process. And here you can see this is let's say skeleton of the wing frame. Also we have some parts for the engine gondolas as far as you can see, and also here we have some parts for the nose wheel. Everything looks really cool, and molding quality is clean and crisp. It would be strange to see something different from Tamiya, and as you can see, it should be easy to assemble together, I hope. But there we also have this small bonus. So because this is a tricycle scheme aircraft, we have here metal balls included. So this metal weight will have to be installed into the nose section. That's really cool because it's included in the standard package and you don't have to search for it. Next we continue with the marking options, and here we have something interesting and what I'm actually glad to see. So we have here marking guides which are provided in form of large posters. As you can see, they're really huge and it might be a good thing to frame on your wall. So that was the first marking option, and then we have the second one. And frankly speaking, I'm not sure why we have A and C letters. So I guess, yeah, there is on the first brochure here we have the marking option A. From the opposite side you'll see the marking option B, and again it's a huge poster with necessary designations, so really welcome bonus, and I'm glad to see such thing in the kit for that price, let's say, because I'm not that huge fan of approach for black and white marking guides. Especially with this price tag, I expect something more useful and easier to understand. Next, we continue with the masks. So Tamiya includes the original masks. As you can see, they're not pre-cut, so you have to cut them with a sharp knife. Or as I said, you can just resort to aftermarket from Edward and save some time for yourself. Next, we continue with the decals sheet. So here, as you can see, we have quite nice decals sheet, but they're a bit on thicker side. I can even feel it with my finger. So again, if you would like to have something more high quality and easier to work with, then definitely go for aftermarket. And here, by the way, we have the separate decals sheet with more decals for the stencils. We have also here the decals for the cockpit. It's dials and the seat belt. We also have some decals for the air intake meshes, and of course this mirror decals, which is rather surprising because usually Tamiya was supplying them as stickers. Next, we continue with the background information. So this is a relatively large brochure which is printed in black and white. And here in this case, I actually do not care that it comes as black and white because we have the color printed marking guide. But here inside you will see some let's say, main differences of the aircraft, as you can see. So that's the J version, that's the G version, and here we have also some photos of the actual aircraft. Next, we continue with assembly manual. Of course, there is also a tech tips brochure, but I guess it's nothing special and it's not worth wasting your time. As for the brochure, it's printed in black and white. Here, assembly process starts straight away with the cockpit, with the instrument panel. Here, by the way, you can see the choice between these three markings. And the cockpit, here we have also some tips on how to paint the parts, because some of the sections, for example here on the cockpit wall, they will be difficult to reach. That's why pay attention and assemble it in a proper way. So here we continue with the cockpit. It's attaching cockpit to the wing, and then we continue with the nose landing gear bay. Here we have the nose landing gear bay assembly continued. Then we have attaching nose landing gear bay together with the fuselage parts, and then you place this nose weight, also attach the fuselage panel, so quite an interesting assembly. Here we continue with the nose section. As you can see, it's assembled out of several panels, and then we have guiding lights, or position lights actually. Here we have ailerons installation for both sides, turbochargers, and of course they will be on the engine gondolas. Then we continue with the right boom assembly. So here you have to use these interesting looking panels because they will be used for the main landing gear bay. And as you can see, again, you have to plan how to paint these parts in advance. Here we have also some hydraulic lines copied with help of plastic parts, but I guess if you will get some P parts, you'll be able to copy even more. Next, we continue with some weight placed in the boom. So this is quite interesting approach. We will have it not only in the fuselage, but we will have also it in the in this booms. So as you can see here, we have another one. It's for the left. Obviously, we just repeat the same part again and again. I mean, the same sequence of the actions. And here you can see the weight placement again. So this strange circular thing, it was actually designed in order to hold the metal ball weight. Then we install all of this stuff onto the wing. We work on the tail surfaces and also start building the main landing gear. As you can see, it gets into the place. Here we continue with the fuel tanks. As far as you can see, we can attach them if you would like to. And then we continue with the landing gear covers. Here we have the drop tanks assembly, so they can be installed onto your wing, but do not forget about this pylon. And then we continue with the underside parts. Here you can see the radio assembly and also pilot assembly on the step 50. Here we have also the masks application guide. So of course it's recommended to cut it first, because otherwise you won't be able to apply them. Now of course here you have to decide whether you would like to have open or closed canopy, and then you assemble the propeller. You install them both onto the engine gondolas, and that's pretty much all. Here we have some tips on the decals application and also painting the whole model. So this kit should be already available and you can get it in any good model shop. Again, I would say thank you for supporting me in this video review, and I will see you in the next video. So, by the way, do not forget to write your opinion here, because it will be interesting to talk with you about this kit. And as I said, I will see you in the next video review, so stay tuned, there will be more stuff coming soon. Bye.